Most students think they hate studying. They open their books, read for a few minutes, get bored, then somehow end up scrolling through TikTok or Instagram for the next 2 hours. It happens so often that studying starts to feel like a chore, while everything else feels much more exciting. But here's the thing. You're not born loving or hating studying. Your brain simply prefers activities that feel rewarding. That's why social media, video games, and even watching TV can become so addictive. They give your brain something to look forward to. The good news is that you can train your brain to feel the same way about studying. In this video, I'm going to show you 10 simple ways to make studying something you actually want to do, instead of something you have to force yourself to do. None of these methods are difficult, but when you combine them together, studying becomes much easier to stick with. Let's get into it. The first way to get addicted to studying is to make studying enjoyable. Think about it. If every time you study, you're sitting in a hot room with poor lighting and complete silence, you're probably not going to enjoy it very much. So make your study sessions more enjoyable. Listen to calm music if it helps you concentrate, make yourself a cup of coffee or tea, light a scented candle if you have one, or keep your favorite snack nearby for your study breaks. The more enjoyable studying feels, the more likely you'll want to do it again. The second method is to reward yourself. Your brain loves rewards. That's why people spend hours on social media. They get a reward every few seconds in the form of funny videos or interesting posts. You can use the same idea while studying. After finishing a study session, reward yourself with something you enjoy. Watch one episode of your favorite show. Spend a few minutes on social media. Have a snack or listen to music. Just make sure you only give yourself the reward after you've completed your study session. Over time, your brain starts connecting studying with getting something enjoyable afterwards. The third method is to study for shorter periods. One mistake many students make is planning to study for 4 or 5 hours straight. That's exhausting, especially if you're just getting started. Instead, tell yourself you'll only study for 25 or 30 minutes. Set a timer and focus only on studying until it goes off. Once you're done, take a short break before starting again. Studying in shorter sessions feels much less overwhelming, and you'll often find yourself studying for longer than you originally planned. The fourth method is to make your study space inviting. Your environment affects your mood more than you think. If your desk is messy, full of distractions, or uncomfortable, you'll naturally avoid sitting there. Take a few minutes to organize your study area. Clear away unnecessary items, keep your books neatly arranged, and make sure you have good lighting. You don't need an expensive setup. Even a clean desk can make a huge difference. The fifth method is to track your progress. One of the most satisfying feelings is seeing how much you've accomplished. Keep a checklist of the topics you need to study and cross them off as you finish them. You could also use a habit tracker to mark every day you study. Watching your list get shorter and your streak get longer gives you a sense of progress that motivates you to keep going. The sixth method is to turn studying into a challenge. Instead of thinking, I have to study this chapter, challenge yourself. See if you can finish 20 practice questions before your timer ends. Try to summarize an entire topic on one page, or see how many flashcards you can answer correctly without making a mistake. Turning studying into a game makes it much more interesting than simply reading your notes over and over again. The seventh method is to start with the easiest subject. If you begin your study session with the hardest topic, you might lose motivation before you've even warmed up. Instead, start with a subject you enjoy or one that's easier for you. Finishing something quickly gives you a sense of accomplishment, and that motivation makes it easier to move on to the more difficult subjects afterwards. The eighth method is to study with other people. Studying with friends can make studying feel less lonely and much more enjoyable. You can ask each other questions, explain difficult topics, and keep each other accountable. Just make sure you're actually studying. If you spend the whole time chatting, you're defeating the purpose. Choose friends who are serious about improving their grades, just like you are. The ninth method is to study at the same time every day. The more consistent you are, the less you'll have to rely on motivation. For example, If you study every day at 6 p.m., eventually your brain starts expecting it. It becomes part of your daily routine, just like brushing your teeth or eating dinner. Once studying becomes a habit, you'll spend less time convincing yourself to start. Finally, don't study until you completely burn yourself out. Some students think the longer they study, the better. But if every study session ends with you feeling exhausted, you're going to dread studying the next day. Instead, stop while you still have a little energy left. This makes it much easier to come back tomorrow because your brain remembers the experience as something manageable instead of something stressful. At the end of the day, getting addicted to studying isn't about having more discipline than everyone else. It's about making studying enjoyable enough that your brain wants to come back to it again and again. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!